Hello everybody, every pony, everything. Today I'm with an amazing artist. She has many names, but today I'm going to be calling her Cailadelrose. Is that pronouncing it right?
No, it's Cailadelrose.
Khaled.
But you can just call me Kayla for short.
Kayla? Yeah. Kayla for short. And please introduce yourself, Kayla.
Hi, I'm a aspiring artist, currently doing commissions, owner of Kayla's Creations, and um, yeah, as far as the pony community goes. But real life, I'm a massage therapist.
Ah. And if and a lot of our art is being shown as we are speaking. All the art has been created by I'm never going to pronounce your name correctly in this entire stream, but still, you can joke about that as all you like, and it's fine. Do people struggle to say your name? In all honesty,
No.
oh, is it just me? Is it just me that I'm gonna for now? The person interviewing the person is struggling to say Cailadelrose. Callie, but yeah, all the art is created by Cailadelrose. I'm going to pronounce that name wrong for this entire stream, but
Is Rose easier?
Rosie. Rosie, I'm just going to say Rosie now, forever. I'm going to call you Rosie.
Okay.
And as you can tell, it is amazing. But you don't just do pony art, do you? You do non-pony art as well.
I do. Actually, I've been practicing this afternoon with doing Khajiit art from Skyrim. So I do a lot more than just ponies. I um, do all sorts of animals, all sorts of human kinds of art, whether it be elves or people.
Yeah, and I find it
Working on
interesting.
lizard people next.
Yeah, I find it interesting that you're Cailadelrose for the pony fandom, but you're Captain Hyper for everything else. Why? What?
No, just for my DA. That's an old account that I still absolutely
Ah,
love and I keep around for mostly my comic stuff. But that's where I actually started. So if you want to see any of my old art or the first book of my trilogy that I'm hoping to get working and revised next year, then go ahead.
oh, so you're not just an artist; you're also a writer.
I'm also a writer. Sometimes it's not very well known, but I am.
Ah, that's very interesting. So did you change your name from Captain Hyper to Cailadelrose, or was it just what sort of transition was there?
I've wanted to transition to being Cailadelrose for at least 2 years. And then I finally was just like, you know what? I'm not going to change Captain Hyper 4. I'm just going to make a new account. And that's how I started just rebranding myself. Most of the time, you can find me on a lot of different social media platforms as Cailadelrose now.
Ah, ha, was the initial rebranding hard, and how did you rebrand yourself? What steps did you take? May I ask?
Um, it was actually very easy. As far as coming into the MLP community, I started off as just being Kayla Del Rose. A lot of people didn't really know me as anything else. So I just started making all of my platforms just Kayla Del Rose so people could get to know me under one name. And then when I decided to rebrand myself as just that, I changed any of the names that were altered from Kayla Del Rose to Kayla Del Rose. Like, for example, I was Desert Rose on Discord for the longest time, and then I just decided to be Kayla Del Rose. And a lot of people have just taken to it. It hasn't been that hard to actually just rebrand myself that way.
Ah, that is very interesting to hear. What sort of style of art do you prefer doing, and do you have like many different kinds of styles of art you do? And what's your preference?
I have a set style that a lot of people will call mostly manga style or manga inspired style, because that's where I got a lot of my art inspiration from, was just watching anime when I was younger and uh, trying to mimic different styles from other artists, but I just kept coming back to the same style. So I was like, I think this is just my style. This is just what I'm going to be doing from now on.
Was there
I
like
do,
what,
yes.
was that? No, was there like any specific mangas or animes you particularly took a liking to at the start that kind of inspired you to get onto this road of art? May I ask?
Um, I believe my first anime was Sailor Moon. So I got onto that, but it had very big eyes and very elongated legs. So I don't think it was until after I graduated massage therapy school that I actually finally defined what my style is. A little more humanesque, not so elongated arms and legs, more anatomically correct. When you study a book on just anatomy for a whole year, it changes your entire style from what you start off with.
So what when you mean anatomically correct, what do you mean by that?
I mean, if you're going to make someone very tall, then you need to define what portion of the body is going to be longer. Is it going to be the torso? Is it going to be legs? And then things need to be lined up correctly as well. And studying body body forms in general is very important. Something I had to go to college for. Like, I didn't go to art college. Never did that. But I did take a lot of art college courses while I was at community college before I went to massage therapy school.
Oh, so art has always been like a side project for you. It's like a little side thing that you do, and now you are able to do it as a side like job that you get a little bit of money from now and then is great in a weird way.
I absolutely love it. For the longest time, I did not have a lot of confidence in whether my style was going to be like actually produce anything from, but I had a lot of people who were cheering me on, like Sharpwit and Lonnie, who were just like, no, your style is really great. You should try and market this. And so I did. And I was like, well, I don't really do traditional art. I do traditional art. I don't really do digital because it is such a learning curve. Like, I have a tablet and I'm practicing with it, but it is a large learning curve because I am very, very computer challenged.
So you're more traditional in the hand drawn kind of art. So that's your preference. But is there like art that you like to just to look at, not to just draw, that you like to view as someone who does art, you view as that's amazing. I wish I could do that as well.
I I will look at every type of hand drawn 2D animation styles and just be mostly blown away from them.
Ah.
I can't remember what his name is, but I absolutely love the artist who did the Helsing manga series. His style just blows me away in the way he creates his facial expressions, and it's just beautiful. It's amazing to me. I wish, I wish I could just naturally draw like that, but I've only been able to slightly copy that for like some fan comics that I've done in the past.
Oh, but I'm glad that you still have your style and that you're trying to improve yourself. Have you ever thought about making a hand drawn animation, even if it's a short one at best?
I have absolutely no idea if I'm ever going to get to that point, but if I am ever able to get to that point, I would absolutely love to do that. Pardon me.
Yeah, no worries. You said that you did the people can pay you to get like what's it called? Yeah, I'm literally looking at your DA now. I'm professional. Very professional. Um, um, the way you earn money as an artist, you do art. What drawings of your own are you most proud of?
Goodness, what drawings am I most proud of? It's like trying to ask me which baby is my favorite.
Oh, do you mind explaining what you mean by that? Because you have loads of art, but what do you mean by that? It's like each piece of art you make special to you in a certain way.
Every piece of art that I make, I put a piece of my soul into. And that's why I stress so hard about making each piece perfect, in my opinion.
So what do you define as making it perfect? How do you make one piece of art perfect and another piece of art perfect but in a different way? Is it like little details? Is it like slightly altering the style, or is it like costume changes, or like facial expressions, or is there something a little bit more finite about it?
It's everything. When you define something as perfect for you, perfect for an artist, if they're happy with that piece. If I'm not happy with the piece, it's not going up. But perfection could be anything from the anatomical positioning to the facial expression, how it's colored, to the background, to accessory pieces. Everything has to be pure satisfactory. And especially when it comes to commissions, I stress more about that than anything. Because it's not to my satisfactory that I am working on. It's to my customer's satisfactory as well.
That's what I was going to ask you about. What's the process of taking someone's idea in a commission and make it in a reality? What is your process? How do you turn someone's idea into reality? How do you get that idea onto paper?
So first you must have to hammer out all the details of what exactly they want, down to the pose, the facial expression, the clothing, the accessories, the backgrounds. And sometimes if I'm trying to get into a big project, for example, like a comic, I will ask my customer to talk to me about their character. I want to get to know this character. I want to be able to do this character absolute justice. That I'm not taking them out of character just for my own perceiving of this piece. Everybody's character is so made uniquely that I feel like if you're going to do that, especially in a comic, where you have to get dialogue correctly, you should really get to know that person's character that they've created and molded for God knows how long.
Well, that's very interesting. But carry on.
And then after that, I'll do initial artistic phase where it's sketching, then having it checked over with the commissioner. Outlining, then checked over with the commissioner. These are very vital areas where you can tell me if anything needs to be changed or if you want something added. And finally, the coloring stages are usually when, if I don't exactly know what kind of color you want, I'll go over every single one of the colors that I think is great. that piece with you. And if you don't like it, let me know. And then finally, the coloring stage comes into effect. Then I show the final product, see if they're happy. If they're not, especially with a traditional artist, if you're not happy with something, then I can absolutely redo it again. I haven't come into that problem yet. Everybody seems to be really happy in the early stages. And then finally, I will have the piece scanned and cropped properly and then posted. That is my process.
That's a very strict but fair process. Do you have do they all sometimes give you creative liberty, sometimes let you be creative? And if they do, how do you deal with that? How do you express your ideas while still pleasing someone?
So if I've been given creative reign over the piece, which happens a lot actually, what happens then is that I ask questions to get a general idea of what exactly they like. And I'll pose a lot of questions to them, which seems kind of annoying when you're like, oh, I just want you to draw my character. Well, what do you want your character to look like? What kind of pose? What kind of feeling? Because this is a piece that you are paying for with your hard-earned money. It should be to your liking. It should be perfect in every way. You should be able to shine this on your wall with pride. And I know it seems really annoying sometimes, but if I get a general idea of that, then I can create something absolutely beautiful.
That's very interesting that you kind of prefer having more limits than having less limits, in a sense, if you agree with me.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially with stuff that I'm very ignorant about. So, for example, Deckard Spade's comics that I've been doing, I don't know a lot about Fallout Equestria. So he's given me a link so I can read up on the different stuff. And I've looked up different kinds of art for Fallout Equestria to get an idea of what it looks like and general premise and everything. But this is something that I know that I'm very ignorant in. So I will ask a lot of questions about such things and the general mood and whatnot. So that kind of stuff is very important to get to know. I can draw the general outline if you like, but please let me know if anything needs to be changed.
Do you ever draw art just for yourself? And when you draw art just for yourself, what's that process? Is it different to doing a commission? And how different is it?
So drawing art for myself, which I've been doing a lot of over Inktober, which is basically you just draw a picture every single day. Some people like a general outline of what they're supposed to do or what feeling they're supposed to do. A lot of artists I've seen are like, okay, today's theme is creepy crawlies or whatever. And I'm just like looking at that. I'm like, no, thank you. I'm going to do what I want. So the creative process with that is like figuring out what exactly I want to draw. And then just not tracing, but drawing it out and trying to get the facial expressions right and the body and the tone that I want, and then deciding whether I want to do a grayscale or color after I'm done with the outlining process, and then erasing all the marks, because some people really love pencil marks. I don't like pencil marks, not in my art at least. I like everything to be clean and professional looking. I don't know, it's just a weird thing that I like.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I think having that perfectionist shows through in your art sometimes, and when you have like a very bold piece that you don't see, it's so perfect. And I think some of the ones that are showing in the slideshow in this video do really show that you do go into the real details of not having those pencil marks, not having any outlinings. It's just showing all the all that perfection, if you don't mind me saying.
Thank you. I try to make it as clean as possible.
But I find
If
it
somebody wants a sketch that is completely different, you will get a lot of the pencil marks. I'll probably erase the very early pencil marks that do a formation of what the figure looks like. But otherwise, you're going to get a very clean product.
I find it very interesting that your process for making your own stuff to making other people's stuff is so different. That you have more, you allow yourself to have those creative ideas and you don't limit yourself at all. You just give yourself all the creative freedom when you're making stuff just for yourself. But when you're making something, you try limit it. Would you say that's true?
Yes, I would definitely say that because I'm trying very hard to give the commissioner what they want. And then sometimes the stuff that I do for my own passion projects are just there might be a little bit of a difference come creative process design. Sometimes there's a bit of a difference when you see the final product compared to something that I've been commissioned to do. And I don't know why that is, but it is.
How many times do you redraw a piece, or does it depend on if it's commission, if it's for yourself, or many other variables?
So I've had to redraw one piece, and that's because it did not turn out the way that I wanted it to as far as commissions go. There were some things that needed to be edited that were missed during the early stages of sketching and outlining. So I was just like, you know what? No, we're getting rid of this first piece, doing it right. And then when it comes to like sketching for my own passion projects, it's like if I've drawn over too many times and a piece just doesn't look right, I'll just throw that page away in frustration and start over again on a clean page. Because some notebooks that I've been starting to buy are just like really taking to the lines, like the sketching lines. And I noticed as an artist, I press too hard with the pencil compared to some people who do a very light sketching. And I'm just like, I don't know how you do that. What is this wizardry?
Why does that matter? Why, may I ask, why does a hard pencil line to a soft pencil line matter?
Sometimes it's very hard to get rid of when you're erasing the hard lines because you can still see the formation of what was compared to what is. So, for example, if you press too hard with the pencil, you will get those old lines that maybe you don't want in the finished product. And they are very difficult to get rid of.
Ah, that is very interesting to hear even a hard pencil line can cause an error in the future without you even realizing.
Yes. Especially when it comes to different notebooks, because some notebooks, it's not a big deal. And some notebooks are like, we're going to take everything you give us, whether you like it or not. I'm like, really? Really? I'm never buying from this company.
For aspiring artists who may or may not suffer with that issue, how would you say what they should do to help themselves find out if what sort of like kind of like if they're a heavy drawer like you or like a light pencil artist, if that makes sense?
Light pencil artist, in my opinion, is probably the way to go because those lines can be fixed. Those lines can be altered a little bit. But when it comes to the harder lines, try to recognize when you're doing that and try to go for a lighter line. I know when I press too hard with my pencil, it really does start to hurt my fingers. So try to be a little more loose with the pencil when it comes to your line and that'll make for a lighter line, but in the end, you'll be able to find your lines again.
Yeah. Is it?
And I know during like sketching stages, if you want to be able to get the details right, erase the lines that are unnecessary after you're done with the sketching phase. Because when you're doing the outline phase, it may confuse you a bit what lines to follow. Because when it comes to the outlining phase, it's just retracing every line that you've thought over, basically.
As an artist, what is your toolkit? What sort of pencils, notebooks, and stuff like that do you use? What's your preference?
So as far as a notebook goes, I don't think I really have a preference, but I do like the notebooks that are like 7 by 10, or sometimes for the comics, I'll go for a 9 by 12, but they have to be like stark white for some reason because I don't like beige and I don't like gray. As far as pencils go, I usually go for the number 2 pencils. That's just what I grew up with, and I'm kind of like stuck with it. Erasers, because I always go through the erasers on the number 2 pencils. I'll usually go for pink pearl. Outlining pens, I've been getting to the Sharpie outlining pens because as I grew up, I just stuck with Sharpies. And I don't know how, but I accumulated like every stinking color under the sun. And nowadays, I can't find some of those colors in the store, and it's the most annoying thing in the world. So now I've had to go and get different colors from like Copic and Artist Loft. And while those are great, I wish I could just stick to one company, but I can't because no company ever makes all the colors of the rainbow.
What's your favourite thing to draw, just generally? What kind of things do you just love to draw when you're just sketching yourself? What sort of things do you preferably draw?
I love drawing people. I love see when I draw people, it's mostly in anime manga style that I normally do. I've had a lot of people be like, "Oh, I want you to draw realistically," and I'm like,
That's not
"They're
how
not
you
going to
roll.
come out very pretty if you ask me to do realistic. Please don't ask me to do realistic because I can't do it. There are just certain things that I can't do, and that is one of them."
Oh, that's
And
that.
then,
Carry on, carry on. So,
and then, I can do like backgrounds and normal things. I have a real glutton for punishment when it comes to drawing something and then stippling, just coloring it, just nothing but stippling dots. And it takes hours and hours and hours and hours. It's the most fun thing to do. But it is a glutton for punishment because your hands will cramp after like 3 hours.
mm. You say you like drawing people. Do you draw like family members? Do you draw celebrities? Do you draw friends? Or is it just a mixture of all three and does it depend on the day?
It really depends. For a while, I did a lot of YouTube artists. I was really proud of the Superwoman one that I did because she's not an animated artist. She's just one of those YouTubers that just does her amazing thing. And being able to convert her into my style was one of the proudest things that I've ever done as far as doing YouTubers.
I think one of the ones I put in the slideshow is a YouTube one. I think I've put this. I put the Doctor Wolf one and the Silver Quill one.
For a while, starting out, I really didn't know a lot of people, so the Brony analysis community really pulled me in, and I was starting to get to know everybody, and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to draw all these people. These people are absolutely amazing. They're funny. They bring a smile to my day. So that was kind of a way to not only get attention, but give love back to those people who really just made a smile on my day.
What is your plans for the future now? As what future plans have you got now? What are you planning to do as an artist or as a writer as well? What plans have you got that you're allowed to say?
So my future plans, hopefully, are to eventually get to drawing some digital art, getting good at that, and figuring out how to do programming as far as like doing similar videos to what the Brony analysis do, with vectors and backgrounds and music and such, but employing help from other people because Lord knows I don't know how to do everything. And I'm perfectly fine hiring other people to help me out with that sort of thing. And then as far as writing, I'm hoping to clean up my copy of my book I wrote back when I was 16. It's a young adult fantasy. Cleaning that up a bit, taking it up to an editor and seeing if it's good enough for publishing.
Ooh. If anyone was interested in looking for your stories or fan fictions that you make, where would they find them, may I ask? Or they
You will
not?
probably find them most likely on my Captain Hyper 4 on DeviantArt. I have absolutely no idea how good those are anymore. But you can feel free to look back on times of old and read some of that. But I know my first book is up on there. It's just one entry, but the rest of them are saved in notes. But if you go to that one entry, they're linked up to all the other chapters. So you can just press the next button and go to the next chapter.
Ah. Have you ever thought about applying both arts together, having your stories have your art in them?
Oh, goodness, yes. I've done concept art for my book all the time. Um, but I'd also love to just do some MLP writing. Um, Hyping up right now my character's backstory, trying to get it the hammering down to the final details.
And I'm guessing you when that backstory's finished, you're probably going to draw like some of those scenes, if that makes sense.
Goodness, yes, because when I was writing the initial thing, there were so many side characters, and there's going to be art for all of that.
Oh, I'm very excited. Can't wait to see that. And you said you're working with on projects with other people. What projects are you working on at the moment?
Um, Projects that I'm working on right now. Okay, so right now I'm doing a comic. It's taking a bit of time to do, but it is a character in-depth piece with Aeon of Dreams. Because he's partially co-wrote this comic that I want to actually bring to life. So I'm excited about that. That's my next thing, and I'll announce that when that's coming out.
Ah. And you said that you're getting into digital art. What's the difference between doing digital art and hand drawn art? What is the leap, and why is what's the difference that is making it hard? May I ask?
It depends on where you started from. So for me, a lot of this stuff was hand drawn. My pieces can take anywhere if I work all day on them without any interruptions. Because mind you, I work 2 other jobs besides art. Um, I do the art and commissions when I have downtime, when I have free time. And that's why I warn people, I'm like, this may take a couple of weeks at most, but I promise you it won't take any longer than that. Um,
I'm amazed that
for
you're
me,
able to.
my traditional pieces will take anywhere from commission pieces will take anywhere between 5 and 8 hours. And a simple piece that is not very complex is my traditional art on the computer. Oh, it may take tens and tens of hours because the learning curve is so horrible.
Ah. So it's just the learning curve of going from hand drawn to digital. But if you stay a hand drawn artist, I don't think there's any loss because your hand drawn art is amazing and it is definitely beautiful. I do have to admit that it is. I think if people aren't going to your DeviantArt now, they don't know what's good for them. They don't know what is good for them. You hear that, comments? You hear that? Oh, but no, I'm thankful that you actually stuck with me the entire time and answered as many questions as you could. Is there one final message you would like to leave for the viewers? What one final message would you like to leave?
Never doubt what you do. For example, I had all the fear in the world of not succeeding in my artwork, and that held me back for months, probably years. If you're good at something, pursue it. Don't just let it be a hobby, because you have no idea how far you can reach towards those stars and make something amazing in the future for not only yourself, but to just share with the world. Love what you do it well, and share it if you can.
That's an amazing message. And that's coming from someone who somehow, I have no idea how you do this. You balance two jobs and you make amazing art somehow in the little spare time you have. I have no idea how you balance two jobs. I really, really don't.
I don't know how I balance three jobs either. I really don't. Massage therapy and delivering and artist. I really don't know how I do it. And then I'm going to be pursuing next year a CNA degree. I don't know how I'm going to do this.
So essentially it'll be 4 jobs next year.
No, I'm actually going to be trading one for another just so I can have...
Yeah, probably for the right thing. Probably the right thing to do. I don't know how you got the time to talk to me. But I'm so thankful that you talked to me, and I'm so thankful to everyone who's stuck this long to listen to us brabble about how amazing you are. And I have been Patrick Ribby, and you have been
Cailadelrose.
Check her out on Cailadelrose, DeviantArt. You plug this up. You might as well plug yourself. You might as well plug yourself to end this. It's Captain Hyper for the old stuff. It's Cailadelrose for the new pony stuff. You're also on Twitter, aren't you? All the art.
Find me on Twitter, DeviantArt, Tumblr, YouTube, Discord. Yeah, just do it.
I will probably link as much as I can in the thing below. So I've been Patrick Ribby. This has been this has been Cailadelrose. Thank you. Goodbye.